In this video, I'll be talking about making a quantum leap. Someone may ask, what is a quantum leap? A quantum leap is a strategy that will put you far ahead of the incremental gains you are making. What do I mean? Maybe you are trying so hard to achieve a certain goal, but the harder you try, you just achieve something little, and you are not able to get the breakthrough that you are looking for. Making a quantum leap is going from U to U square, which means accomplishing far more in less time with only a fraction of the effort you have been given. In U square, the author Price Pritchett outlines unique dynamic methods for leaping beyond ordinary performances and achieving dramatic results. Quit trying harder. Think beyond what common sense would allow. Make your move before you are ready. Look inside for opportunity. Follow the unconventional strategy of U square to penetrate imaginary barriers and pursue your true potential. If you have been trying so hard to achieve a certain goal and the breakthrough is not coming, please, this video will help you a lot. I'm going to share with you 5 major lessons I have learned, and at the end of the video I have an award for you. So those who watch this video to the end, in the middle or ending of the video somewhere, I have a gift for you. If you watch to the end, you will see that gift I have for you. Before we go into the lessons I have learned, I want you to take a lesson from this 2-minute story of a fly that finally was doomed to die and ended its life miserably because it didn't understand the quantum strategy of U square or making a quantum leap. Rather, it was relying on conventional approaches instead of following the unconventional strategy of U squared. So take a 2-minute look at it and of the story, and after that we shall continue. A true story. I am sitting in a quiet room at the Melcroft Inn, a peaceful little place behind the pine trees about an hour out of Toronto. It is just past noon, late July, and I am listening to the desperate sounds of a life or death struggle going on a few feet away. There is a small fly burning out the last of its short life's energies in a futile attempt to fly through the glass of a window pane. The winning wings tell the poignant story of the fly's strategy: try harder. But it is not working. The frenzied effort offers no hope for survival. Ironically, the struggle is part of the trap. It is impossible for the fly to try harder enough to succeed at breaking through the glass. Nevertheless, the little insect has staked its life on reaching its goal through raw effort and determination. This fly is doomed to die. It will die there on the window well. Across the room, 10 steps away, the door is open. 10 seconds of flying time, and this small creature could reach the outside well it seeks, with only a fraction of the effort now being wasted. It could be free of this self-imposed trap. The breakthrough possibility is there. It will be so easy. Why doesn't the fly try another approach? Something dramatically different. How did it get so locked in on the idea that this particular route and determined effort offers the most promise for success? What logic is there in continuing until death to seek a breakthrough with more of the same? No doubt, this approach makes sense to the fly. Regrettably, it is an idea that will kill. Trying harder isn't necessarily the solution to achieving more. It may not offer any real promise for getting what you want out of life. Sometimes, in fact, it is a big part of the problem. If you stake your hopes for breakthrough on trying harder than ever, you may kill your chances for survival. Price Pritchett. The first lesson I learned from making a quantum leap, or from the book U Square, is focus on making exponential gains rather than incremental gains. Now, quantum leap is a term taken from the vocabulary of the new physics. Quantum physics, the science behind the technological breakthrough as lasers, television, computers, space communication, nuclear energy. Quantum physics is described as the most powerful science ever conceived of by human beings. It requires a major rethinking of such concepts as time and space and how the human consciousness operates. Yeah, there was an author called Alan Wolf. In his award-winning book titled Taking the Quantum Leap, he described the term as an explosive jump that a particle of matter undergoes in moving from one place to another. In a figurative sense, it literally means that taking a quantum leap means taking a risk, going off into an uncharted territory with no guide to follow, moving into a level that far defies logic and ordinary thinking. For example, we all know that we learned in our basic science that when an electron is excited, normally an electron is supposed to move from orbit 1 to orbit 2 to orbit 3 in that order. But when an electron is excited, it can move from the first orbit to the third or fourth or fifth orbit. And that is an exponential gain, not an incremental gain. So in life, most of the time, incremental gains will never actually satisfy you and give you the breakthrough you are looking for. So you'll have to look for exponential gains. Don't think of moving from 1 to 1.2 to 1.3 to 1.4, 1.5 in that order. Think of moving from 2 to 4 to 8 to 16 to 32 to 64 in that order. Now, someone sitting somewhere watching this video may think that I am speaking against determination and making small improvements. No, that is not what I'm speaking against. I am speaking against the situation where what you are looking for, you are not achieving it, and you keep on for a very long time achieving small gains and thinking you actually have the breakthrough you're looking for. And you're not getting that breakthrough. So focus on exponential gains rather than on incremental gains. Number 2, change your personal rules for success. I'm sure by now you might have heard the adage that says that unconventional success calls for unconventional approaches. And moving from U to U square or having an exponential growth is not a mere thing. It's not an easy thing. We fall into the habit of relying on behaviors that seem to have worked best for us over the years. When we take an approach that seems to be very serviceable and which enables us to perform well and succeed, we become attached to it. We don't readily relinquish that habit pattern. In fact, there is a tendency to follow our favorite approach more and more often, such that we get better and better at handling things that particular way. And so we continue with our old methods of doing things, and we continue to get the same results. So if you want to really have that explosive jump, that exponential growth that you are looking for, then you have to change your approach. Look for a new way of doing what you have been doing. Change a method, change a procedure. Look for a new strategy. Okay, the third one I will talk about is quit trying harder. You see, there is a saying that more of the same will normally give you more of the same. What do I mean? The harder you work, the more results you get. But the truth is that as you try harder and harder, you just get an incremental gain that corresponds to the little harder you added. Now, sooner or later, you reach to the point of diminishing returns, where the harder you try, it doesn't necessarily add any significant progress. It even gets to the time where, as you add more hard work, the effort that you add, the progress you get is even reducing. And the harder you work, you get less and less returns. And so that is the problem. So trying harder doesn't necessarily give you the results that you are looking for. And if you want to really make an exponential gain, you should quit trying harder As I said earlier, it doesn't mean that you should stop being determined. No, you just should understand that this method is not working and you should change something else. Okay, so I'll talk about the fourth one. The fourth one is ignore conventional ways of doing things. As human beings, we are normally used to doing things in the conventional way. We have always done it this way. So sometimes you have to change gears. You have to change the method you have been used in doing something. And sometimes it's not just about adding even more effort. It's just about changing the method, and that method may even require less effort. Because if you will agree with me, you have people who work less harder than what you work, but they gain more, far more than what you gain. You have someone who works far less than you, and the amount that he earns a month, you don't even earn 20% of it, but you work harder than the person. So you have to change gears. So for example, if you have been pushing against the wall, open the door and walk in. That is taking an unconventional way of doing things. Maybe everyone is pushing against the wall, and there is a particular way you can pass through without even pushing. Take that path. Maybe everyone is pushing against the water. What should you do? Go with the flow. Maybe everyone is pushing against the wind. Maybe you are going to a certain direction and it demands that you push against the wind. Instead of pushing against the wind, follow the direction of the wind. And so you need to just change a sense of what? The ways that you used to do things. You need to take an unconventional approach. The fact that everyone is following through a certain procedure doesn't mean that you should also follow that. You have to change. You have to follow an unconventional path and an unconventional way of doing things. The fifth one I'll talk about is think beyond what common sense will allow. Think beyond what common sense will allow. Most of the time, if you are to follow common sense and logic, you cannot make an explosive jump. Sometimes you have to consider ideas that people will look at you as absurd, abnormal, but it is only at that particular level that will take you to where you are looking for. Think of how to think of possibilities. Think of how to break barriers. Think beyond what your mental boundaries will allow. Think of new approaches. These are the ways that you can really break through and have an exponential increase. There are several others, but I will not be able to mention all of them. So what I can talk about is suspend disbelief. Sometimes if you don't have faith, you don't have a strong faith, you are going to lose on your way to getting an exponential growth. You are not going to achieve it. So you have to suspend disbelief, because some of the approaches that you have to use, you cannot really follow them, because they will go against common sense and your faith will not allow. If you don't have a strong faith, you are going to have some kind of disbelief or lack of faith. Okay, so we focus on the ends rather than the means, rely on the unseen forces. Sometimes you are thinking, how am I going to get to this particular place exactly? But stop thinking about that. Just have the faith and believe that I am going to achieve this. This particular thing I am trying to look for is possible. And at the end of the day, you'll get there. Okay, so I was telling you that I'll have an award for you. The award I have for you is that I want to give you a copy of my book, Achieving Your Greatest Dream. This book will open your boundaries to think of an exponential increase, to break your mental barriers, to move from U to U squared, to move from where you are to where you really want to be. And this is what you have to do. Give me your biggest takeaway you've learned from this video in the comment section. After you have given your takeaway or your comment lesson you have learned from this video, you write there that interested in you, or you can write interested in the book. So once you write interested, I know you are interested in the book. I will follow up and give you a copy of that book. Okay, so I'll be watching for those that are going to leave their takeaways in the comment section. Also remember to subscribe to this channel and turn on the notification bell for more other powerful videos like this. Thank you and see you in the next video. Bye bye.